Good morning. Welcome to SEC Baseball Reaction. It is Monday morning. We had baseball late into the night, setting up several games today in the NCAA tournament, including 4 games involving SEC teams. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk about pitching availability tonight, which, frankly, I'm beginning to wonder if any of this matters. It's almost like a throw out the numbers situation for some of these teams in the tournament. But anyway, we did the work there. We'll get into that. We've got the Kevin O'Sullivan thing, which was getting all kinds of traction last night and into the morning. Still trying to figure out what's going on there. Good morning, Jay Greason. Good morning, Graham Doty. Good morning to many of you in the audience. I see Ben is here. He's a regular. Sam's a regular. A lot of you guys here. Appreciate you guys being here this morning. Glad you're here. Let's talk some baseball. Graham, I want to start you off here because we're trying to dig into what happened with Kevin O'Sullivan in the blow-up. And first of all, determine what is real and what is not. There's a widely circulating video showing him getting into a pretty heated argument with some people. There's another one of him on the field. And this is really out there, but with technology and especially the ability to make videos. I don't know if you guys saw what Google came out with last week. It is scary how things can be done and manipulated to make things that are completely imaginary look real. I'm not saying that's the case here. I know, Graham, that when we were chatting this morning, part of the thing going on is this video even real? What do we think is real with the Kevin O'Sullivan situation and what is not? What's at the heart of all this factually?
I think there's two. First of all, there's 2 videos going out. One of the videos where he's on the field, heavily, pointing at whoever he's talking. To me, that one's real.
Yeah.
The other one where there's a bunch of 4-letter words, I don't know how accurate that is or not. But and then what just kind of made this go super viral was just Coastal Carolina's head coach, just because I can't remember in any sport a current head coach just tee off on another head coach the way that Coastal Carolina's coach did. And that was just whoa, this is something you just don't see a lot. So I think the heart and soul of it is just the game time got moved. It was agreed to one time the day before, and then it got moved the day of. And that's just kind of what I think it comes down to.
Okay. Buckle up, because I got a few tangents here. In the macro, I'm embarrassed to be a journalist when we have to question whether a video is real or not. And that is just I'm embarrassed as an American, to be quite honest. Yeah. And it is the state of the society we're in. And you can quote chapter and verse on how many different examples on where that is. Second, I am sick to death of these college coaches who would suspend a kid if he showed his ass on the field the way Kevin O'Sullivan did to that guy. I mean, they're grown men, and he had a disagreement with the guy and threw some F-bombs. I mean, whatever. I mean, okay, he's a rude dude in the other video that you referenced, Graham. But here's the side thing. You're going to get that bent out of shape about a game time, and you didn't get 12 hours of notice? I mean, I get being the micromanager, and all great coaches are control freaks and are looking for every edge. For God's sakes, a handful of years ago, Georgia won the national championship, and Kirby's mantra was, nobody believed in us. They were preseason number 2. Right. Everybody believed in you, Kirby. I get it. You find every emotional edge you can. But if you can't keep your emotions in check, then you're doing a disservice not only to yourself and your family, Kevin O'Sullivan, but your team.
Yeah. Is a tangent on myself that I'll go off on my own here. It is getting so hard to distinguish truth from fiction. It's only going to get worse. And the world of video stuff rewards algorithms, and you look up Kevin O'Sullivan and what really happened. It's the same story written by all the media outlets that are at the top of the search algorithm, and none of them were there, and they just take what is everybody else is saying, spin their own words to it, and that's what pops up. It is getting so hard to get to what actually happens with stuff. And a lot of it is just the way tech is set up. And frankly, we have to do a lot of things here. I mean, we've got to make a living. We got to pay bills. And if you're invisible, you know, none of you guys are seeing us either. I mean, it's just this really weird world that we are living in right now.
The other part of this is Major League visor tip to the Coastal Carolina coach. He pulled no punches. He did not say Kevin Sullivan's name, but everybody in the building knew exactly who he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And his profile's nowhere close to Kevin O'Sullivan's. But that dude, hey, you get a handful of choices almost every day, even more so. Are you going to stand on the side of right, or are you going to stand on the side of being a bully? And in that regard, Kevin O'Sullivan, your team went 0-2, and you're the biggest loser involved, period. I got to shut.
It didn't take a genius to figure it out. Like, he's the only head coach in that regional that has won a national championship. So everybody knows who he's talking about.
Sure.
But again, like the one video that I'm talking about that I don't know if it's real or not, it's just like it looks like they're standing.
The one on the concourse?
Yeah, it looks like they're standing in the concourse, and like you can't see anybody's face and like words coming out of anybody's mouth. And like any time where I can't see somebody's face and words coming out and like you just hear everything, I'm just immediately skeptical. So but I think we do need to say, to his credit, like he was asked about it in the post-game presser, and he did say that he had a conversation after the fact. And I mean, I don't know what he said, but he alluded to the fact that he had a conversation and apologized or whatever it is he did do.
The one I sent you guys was the one in the concourse, and did you watch that one all the way through?
I did, yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to say, if it started like you didn't see anybody's face and you heard words, and then it panned up, it looked to me like a fan had just maybe turned on a phone and was fumbling around and took a few minutes to get to actually showing the people. Mm-hmm. So who knows? I mean, I can't believe this is the world we're in, right?
Yeah. I mean, but
like, you got grown millionaires acting this way.
Yeah. Yeah, that was poor.
With leading young people.
By the way, got a super chat from Clint. I need an interpreter on this one here. Jay Greason.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah, sorry. that went over my head this morning. But thank you for the super chat, Clint.
I'll Google it. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin O'Sullivan kind of doubled down last night.
Oh, DeLoss Dodds is the...
He's at Texas.
Yeah.
Right, I knew that, but I'm trying to,
Well, probably his love of Longhorn sports, they're getting kicked to the shins here with some high expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's basketball. Fired a coach there.
Well,
Football did get to the playoffs.
They lost their president or chancellor, whatever they have. Remember, they lost him in the middle of basketball season.
Oh, okay.
But let's not act like Texas has had an awful year. They've had a very good sports athletic 2024, 2025.
Look, I don't, ladies and folks, I don't think that video was AI.
No, I don't either. But
I think that was legit. But
in this modern era was the point I was making.
Right.
I mean, there are too many places and too many things, and we had a couple of folks say that Sullivan said in his time with the media that he handled it appropriately afterwards. Well, Phil, he was asked, "Did you apologize?" I mean, if don't insinuate Own up to what you did. I mean, I've told the story on here before. We made a monster mistake against when LSU came to Chattanooga, killed off Sue Gunner. I mean, and she was still alive. And you know what I did? I walked over there and told them it was coming. And because that's the only way I know how to handle it. And I gave them a heads up, and I took my chewing, and it is what it is. We all make mistakes. I mean, I don't know Kevin O'Sullivan. Is he a good baseball coach? Absolutely. But I mean, there are a whole lot of good. I mean, for God's sakes, Bobby Cox beat his wife. I mean, there are a whole lot of good. You can be really good at your day job and not be a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, just not a good look for him yesterday. I mean, I'm sure he was frustrated with a lot of stuff. And I get that, like, with game times, I think it was something having to do with the start of a game time. But, I mean, if they moved it back, I was texting someone down there this morning, and maybe the thought was that, and you guys who have the details fill in, because I'm flying blind a little bit here, no pun intended. And flying blind, glad you're here, by the way, buddy. We've missed you. How do I put this? What I gathered is he might have been upset that I guess ECU got its game pushed back after playing late into the night before. Which is just part of it, right? In baseball, like, and I get it. I don't know. I think I heard some stuff about maybe the grounds crew needing some more time to get ready. I don't know the facts. There's a lot that I don't know. But still, I mean, and especially if Gary Gilmore is the target of that. I don't know the guy, but everybody seems to speak well of him. Like, I don't think you go after anybody in that manner anyway, but especially not if it's him.
Yeah, same. I don't know him either, but I've heard nothing but really good and nice things about him. Yeah,
and maybe this is it. And I think part of O'Sullivan's argument was, like, I guess changes were made when they were sleeping. Maybe it even affected how they would have planned for their day. Maybe they could have gotten a little bit more time, before they got to the ballpark. There's a lot I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out based on the clues we've been left. Anyway.
Right, let's talk about what's going to be a fun day of baseball and leave the tantrums to toddlers and Kevin O'Sullivan.
Yeah. Before we do that, the other thing, he was just frustrated. Sully was, not only that they lost, but did you guys see the video when I think was it Brody, when he had a 3-0 count with like 2 runners on base?
Yeah.
And he swung and bounced into the double play. Like, the look on his face, he was like just speechless.
Yeah.
And it came out that, like, he just ignored the take sign.
Take sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a guy clearly who had other stuff going on in the back of his head. So
that one I get being flummoxed, but man,
yeah.
I mean, giving a tongue lashing to the grounds crew that's not your grounds crew. I mean, dear Lord, don't use wooden hangers at Mommy Dearest's house, because you're going to get lit up.
Yep.
All right, baseball today in the SEC. Here's what we've got. We have got Oklahoma, North Carolina at 2 o'clock Central. We've got Tennessee and Wake Forest at 5. LSU and Little Rock at 8. Good grief. And then Ole Miss and Murray State at 5. So we're still doing 8 o'clock Central baseball for reasons I don't understand. Now, here's a thing. Does any of this have to do with softball and its times?
Even if it does, just give softball the ESPN platforms, like main ESPN. Yeah, put them on ABC, ESPN, and then just put baseball on like ESPN2, SEC Network, or like ESPNU. Like, I don't understand why they can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Kevin's not upset about it. Somebody at the Waffle House is going to get a tongue lashing.
Right. Let's see. Let's take a look at all these games today. Let's start, I guess, in Oxford. Well, no, let's go chronological. Let's go North Carolina and Oklahoma. And let me pull that up. I can tell you who has thrown what at this point. Spoiler alert, everybody who's anybody for the most part has thrown at least once in a regional, if not multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, for North Carolina today, according to what I've got, here's what they're looking at. Knapp threw 119 on Friday. I don't know if you bring him back for a cameo. DeCaro, one of their other starters, threw 98 Saturday. And Howell threw 102 yesterday. Those are the three starters. I would think that's off limits for all of them. Walker Duffy, one of their top relievers, threw 10 pitches on Friday, so he's pretty fresh. Ryan Lynch, another one of their top relievers, threw 13 on Saturday. He's fresh. Olin Johnson, same thing, 14 pitches Saturday. He's fresh. I would say Cam Padgett's out. Yeah, but so that Carolina's got some arms here ready for this one, some quality arms, which is a rare spot for anyone to be in at this point of the tournament. Oklahoma has used a bunch of guys. Let me pull that up. Give me just a moment, please. Okay, OU. Okay, threw a ton of guys yesterday. Pitch counts for Oklahoma yesterday, which had to win 2 games and did. Crossan 107, Bowden 23, Hit 44, Crooks 31, Catalano 46, Barfield 70. I would think maybe Bowden could come back, and they probably would use Crooks again. He had a day off the day before. Malachi Witherspoon threw 102 on Friday. Kyson threw 99 on Saturday. I would think that's out for both of them. Reed Hensley threw 15 on Friday, so he could come back. Gavin Jones threw 30 on Saturday. He could come back. And Cam Johnson, that's probably a break glass in case of emergency, threw 25 Saturday. He just doesn't have any reliable control. And then Bo Sampson threw 10 on Saturday. So Oklahoma's got some arms here, but Carolina's definitely got the pitching edge.
Yeah, they really do. And home field advantage. So, like, what do you think matters the most in that matchup? Like, how much advantage is it in Chapel Hill? But, I mean, Oklahoma's just gritty. Like, there's no quitting those guys. They're just going to grind everything out.
This one's uphill. This is going to be this is a tall order for Oklahoma.
You know, we spend all this time in research going into who's got what, and in this tournament, it just hasn't seemed to matter. I think you hit the key word is gritty. Like, you look at Little Rock's stats, they had no business winning a game in the regional. You watched LSU last night, they looked like the better team, and it wasn't even close. So I don't know what to make of any of it anymore. Like, at some point, skill and quality, I think has to matter. And pitching usually matters in regionals, but it has been weird. First of all, the ball is flying out everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. It's hard to pitch, but anyway, let's see. Next up, we've got, 2 5 o'clocks and then LSU with the late game. So let's go Ole Miss at 5. Ole Miss has also used a bunch of pitchers. Can you bring Riley Maddox back after 70 pitches on Friday? I would think so, maybe, Graham?
I think what you said earlier, that might be break glass in case of emergency.
Mason Morris feels like he's the guy set up to start here. Walker Hook, is Hook's only thrown 6 pitches on Friday? Is that it?
Well,
Did I miss something?
He pitched yesterday too.
Okay. Well, then how many did he throw?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know he did pitch. One thing to keep an eye, like Murray State has 6 lefties in the lineup. So, and Mike has said he doesn't know who he's going to start after the game. He said that, and he said he's going to get with pitching coach Joel Mangrum and figure out if they wanted to make a decision last night late or if they would figure it out this morning. Yeah,
by the way, Jim says, or Wes says, he's going to start Rita Hensley. Okay. Yeah, everybody can go except for Dennis. Is that true?
I mean, Hunter Elliott's not going to go. I mean,
Right.
do we really think Elliott's going to go? But like McCausland pitched a lot yesterday. He was good when he was out there. So I mean, I think this is Bianco said it after the game, like all hands on deck. So I think for the most part, everybody is a go except for Hunter Elliott. Yeah, Wicked Bruce says Hunter can go, might not, but he can't. Like, so that would be 2 days rest, and he's never come out of the bullpen before.
Okay, Murray State has also thrown a lot of dudes.
Yes.
Friday starter, I guess Nick Shutty, I don't know, 119. I think he's ruled out. Silva threw his 84 on Saturday. They do have some bullpen guys. Jacob Husted threw 21 pitches on Friday. I don't think has thrown since. He's one of their better arms. Dylan Zinto threw 49 Saturday. He's one of their better bullpen. These guys aren't elite, but they're serviceable. They used a lot of guys yesterday.
They did. Both teams did. I just think this is going to be a similar score to what we saw all 3 times these two teams have played. I just think both teams are going to get a lot of hits and all that. How You Doing says that Hooks did not throw yesterday. So hold on, I'm pulling it up now.
I didn't have him throwing yesterday.
If that's the case, then yeah. So he last pitched on May 30th. So he's only fired the 6 pitches. So yeah, you're right.
So I'm guessing Hooks starts if they're lefty heavy, and then you get Morris to come in and maybe try to finish if you can pull that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad at all.
Morris was 50 pitches against Murray State on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, so how do we feel? I think Ole Miss feels like it's in the driver's seat. What do we think about Oklahoma here?
I think the SEC would be lucky to split. And I think Ole Miss has a huge advantage because they're going to be completely comfortable. You're 100% right, Graham. Gritty's a great word for what Oklahoma's been this weekend. But if it becomes a slugfest, I don't know if Oklahoma can keep up. And Ole Miss is completely comfortable to play 14-10.
Yeah. Jim, that's for you. I hope you can see the edge of your Sooners pennant back there now. Jim needed the vibes. Pointed out that he couldn't see part of the OU and the spinning wheel behind me. So we need to correct that wrong.
Between the two, I think Oklahoma has the more challenging task for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus North Carolina is just really freaking good.
Yeah.
Okay, Tennessee Wake tonight. That's going to be interesting. Tennessee has got maybe more guys in the garage than I realized. Now, trust level in those guys. I feel like Vitello has sort of tipped his hand lately. Like he is just like he ran Arvidsson out for 102 pitches yesterday. Like he takes the guys he trusts and he throws them and he throws them and he throws them. There's talk of Liam Doyle going tonight after throwing 104 on Friday. Marcus Phillips threw 98 Saturday. I think that would be ruled out. Nate Snead threw 41 yesterday. I would think he'd be available. Tegan Coons, who's talented but has good lately.
I'm sorry, Chris. That's completely my fault. But the best 41 pitches Nate Snead's thrown in a long time. That's
true. Well, he did walk the bases. He did issue a bases loaded walk last night. So command control was off. Tanner Franklin hasn't thrown. Is that right? That's hard to believe. But I don't have him thrown a pitch.
Sam just put what he thinks is going to happen in the chat.
Okay, Sam's been pretty good with his predictions. Okay, he'll be the closer. Marcus won't go. Russell won't pitch. Arvidsson won't go. Coons starts. Franklin will sit. That makes sense based on usage. Sam, am I right? Franklin and Coons.
Uh-oh.
Which is more predictable? A Kevin O'Sullivan eruption or Chris having internet issues?
Good grief.
And now we owe Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
There's a story.
Why can't
I?
There we go.
There we go.
Now the world's back to order. Okay, Sam, am I right that those guys haven't thrown? And Breedlove threw 7 on Friday. Lloyd threw 21 yesterday. He's been increasingly. In fact, Krenzel hasn't thrown. He's a pretty good arm. I mean, I know it's been erratic for Tennessee lately, but they do have some dudes that have got some stuff that have shown ability to throw effectively. Now, again, some of them, success may be a little further in the rearview mirror, but in this tournament, you never know. We're seeing all kinds of guys that the dice gets rolled on that haven't been effective all year, and they come up aces. So,
well, the big part of that, too, is what their teammates can generate, because pitching with a lead – when you're not one of these Friday, Saturday night dudes that we talk about every week is paramount. And the inertia, especially if you're the home team, because the sphincters will tighten in Lindsey Nelson if Wake jumps out quickly and everybody's going, okay, oh my goodness, what's happening? And then a whole lot of the guys in that lineup are going to try to hit the ball from Knoxville to Frankfurt. And it's hard to score. That Wake Forest closer last night was filthy. That left-handed dude with the cheesy punch stash was nasty.
By the way, what do we make of Andrew Fisher like begging and pleading fans to come to the game?
Really? Wow, I missed that.
Well, he gave an interview that said something along the lines of the last couple of years when he was, or especially last year watching when he was in Oxford, he was stunned by how loud it was in the regional and super regional for Tennessee, and he was hoping that it was going to be that way again tonight. But I've also seen some counter blowback that they've moved the students down the right field line and sold the premium seats. And he can't have a problem with that because NIL is coming from the premium seats.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean –
yeah, we saw it with Georgia Stadium, their renovations this year. They got the suites like literally right behind home plate.
Wake has got Griffin Green, one of their better relievers. He threw 19 on Friday. I would think he'd be available. They threw Chris Lavonis, not to be confused with the former Mississippi State coach, 40 on Saturday. Josh Gunther's one of their better relievers. He's gone 54 and 32 the last 2 days. I think he'd be out. Joe Areola threw 9 on Saturday. That's it. He'd have to be a candidate. Zach Johnson threw 37 on Saturday. Not two of their more effective arms. I mean, this is a piecemeal game for Wake, and Tennessee's pitching is in much better shape. So there's that.
Are you trusting, or I guess who do you trust more in this matchup? Tennessee at home, or do you think Wake Forest can get over the hump?
Graham, man, I'm telling you, I've gone by what's on paper all tournament and leaned on the talent that we saw during the season. I feel like the last 2 days, that's all been thrown out the window. No.
Yeah, and Preston makes a good point in the chat. Like, how much of a distraction is it that Wake Forest pitching coach is about to head to start Vegas?
It's not been a distraction for the last 3 games. Not enough to get them beat. So, sorry, Jay.
As they say in Oh Brother, Where Art There, done you RUNNOFT.
What?
He's done, you know, when they go eat horse at the Hog Wallops.
Right. What was the saying one more time? That went a little too quickly.
He done RUNNOFT.
Oh, right. I need to watch that again.
It's outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah, they shot it in Mississippi.
Really?
Oh, yeah, before all the tax stuff went the other direction for movies to come back to the state of Mississippi.
I think that's one of those that's worth the second or third watch, because the first time it's just so bizarre. You're not sure what you're looking at.
Well, it's a Coen Brothers movie, right?
Well, of course.
Absolutely it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's
what else would you expect?
That's what they do.
Okay, we've got LSU. speaking of throw everything out that matters, that's been the ultimate one so far. I still look back at Little Rock, even with the guys that were out, and there's no way you could have seen that coming. Okay, Cade Anderson and Ianson, I would presume, would be out. Chase Shores through 30. I mean, the obvious. Have they not thrown Cowan or Evans yet? I guess they have not.
Somebody just had it in the chat.
Yeah. And that's a pretty stout combination going into a Monday gotta-have game.
That's incredible, honestly. Where was that in the chat? I must have missed it.
Matthew at 12:27.
Okay.
Evans and Cowan. Remember, I know it was late, but we talked about Cowan last night.
Correct. I did that. I did not realize that Evans had not pitched. They've also got Connor Ware. Okay, that's a good one. Or at least he's capable of throwing. He's a pro prospect. The results haven't been there, but yeah, I think on paper LSU should win this easily. But I mean, again, you watched Little Rock last night. That didn't even resemble the team it had been all year. And Graham, as you pointed out, a lot of that's because a lot of those guys weren't available. But man, that team had some, it wasn't even swagger. It was just confidence.
Yeah. But the story for this one is, can Little Rock handle the environment tonight? To say that it's going to be rowdy at 8:00 on a Monday night in Baton Rouge, winner take all, they're going to be juiced and amped up for that one. So the only other time Little Rock has come close to an environment like that was the 2 games they played in Fayetteville.
Yeah, the crowd's going to have to get out of the coma that was in, which, I mean, part of that was they're playing until midnight or whatever it was, and that had something to do with it. But that crowd last night was just stunned. Yeah, Little Rock is going to have its hands full with pitching. I guess they could bring Blake Van Cleve back a third day.
They will. That's their guy.
Yeah, everywhere else it's ugly. They've got some guys that are fresh, but the numbers have not been good.
Royal's the other one. He threw 6 or 8 pitches yesterday.
Yeah, well, he threw 45 on Saturday, threw 17 in game 1 and 8 in game 2.
I'm telling you, those are their top 2 guys. For them, winner take all, they're going to go Van Cleve and Royal.
You know, the other thing we're getting into is all the big boys, Tennessee, LSU, all these prospects all these probable arms we're talking about are pro-type arms. You got some of these kids on these mid-major rosters that they're going to be throwing their last pitch in a regional. And sometimes guys just say, hey, coach, throw me. If my arm falls off, I don't really care because it'll be the last pitch I ever throw.
Yeah. I think for Little Rock, you'll potentially see Jackson Wells.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, I really do. So he started on Friday. I know he threw a lot of pitches, but for them, this is a big, big deal, an opportunity for them.
Is he a pro prospect at all?
He, according to their head coach, Chris Curry, he is.
Okay.
Not top 5 rounds or anything like that, but somebody will take a flyer on him.
Ben's got to interrupt his watching for practice. Ben's a competitive swimmer. Ben, thanks for joining us, man. You've been in all these.
I was a pretty good swimmer until they changed the rule that you couldn't use those water wings. It just really slowed me down.
That's a crying shame, Jay. What could have been?
Yep.
All right, so what have we got on tonight? Big picture. Who do we think advances? Who are we worried about?
I think LSU and Ole Miss, I feel good about.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma, I feel for our Oklahoma fans in here, I think that would be the biggest surprise on the board today among SEC teams if they found a way to get out of Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I got softball practice tonight because Wake Forest, Tennessee overlaps it directly, and that's going to be theater. I
think Wake, Tennessee, we said this, is playing in Lindsey and Nelson should be an advantage. But when you're seeing Andrew Fisher begging fans to get there when they're dropping, their last 3 or 4 home series, it's just been a weird dynamic there. And on paper, Tennessee is clearly the favorite tonight. Like, it's not even close in terms of pitching. But Wake is playing like a team with nothing to lose. And Tennessee's a team that was number 1 in the country, 2 months ago. It's got the burden of trying to defend a national title. You got a lot of guys playing for, draft stock here in a couple of weeks. This is one of those situations where it feels like Tennessee's got everything to lose and Wake's got everything to gain. And I feel like a lot of those situations have gone in the favor of the looser team lately. Like we saw it in Vanderbilt this weekend for sure. I think that had a ton to do with it. And I wonder, I don't want to carbon copy that situation into that one just because it feels convenient right now, but you do have to wonder a little bit.
Graham, I'm curious what you think about this. As emotionally on edge as Tennessee has really been throughout the year, and Chris, you're right, Tennessee at one time, everybody not only viewed them as the number 1 team in the country, but the favorite to win it all. But being the number 1 team in the country doesn't look real promising right now, as a whole bunch of teams that were 1 at one point, Vandy, Texas, Georgia, I'm speaking to you, are making Cape Cod plans right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is this going to be like 2022 Tennessee? Where like they were so amped and they got tight against Notre Dame. Are they going to be like that, or are they just going to tear the cover off the baseball tonight? Like, this matchup, I have no idea how it's going to go.
And I normally don't say this for baseball because it's a race to 27 outs. It always is. Tennessee so desperately needs a fast start, so desperately needs to flip the switch on that emotional dugout, and they're meeting each other coming off the field, and the place is going bonkers. I mean, they need that desperately.
Yeah, because then the crowd will get into it, and I mean, it's going to be a party in that stadium. Same for Ole Miss, by the way. Like I think that Ole Miss one, like both teams are looking at lots of hits and lots of runs.
Who is the home team in Tennessee tonight?
I would have to believe now, after Wake was home team last night, it would have to be Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm on Warren Nolan. So according to Warren Nolan, it's Tennessee, and if it matters, Murray State is the home team.
Is that a disadvantage in a way? Because here's what I'm thinking: Tennessee's had some pitching issues lately. Who do we say starting tonight? Sam told us, and I've already forgotten.
Hold on.
Well, and here's the point I'm going to make either way. Like, Wake has been crushing the ball. If Wake puts up a 3 spot in the first inning before Tennessee gets to hit, how much tension does that put in the ballpark?
A bunch.
Mm-hmm. Franklin and Coons, is that who we touched on?
Yeah, I think so. Coons has been their game 3 star. Okay, Coons. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, I mean, that would be routine.
Yeah, Wicked Brew. I know Murray was the home team last night, but I think for the if necessary game, I think they literally flip a coin. So obviously, if they still do that, Murray State must have won the coin toss.
Other games: Southern Miss and Miami at 8 Central, Southern Cal, Oregon State at 5. And is that it? I guess it is.
Everybody in the chat saying Ole Miss will be the home team. So I'll take your word. Again, I'm going off Warren Nolan, and according to Warren Nolan, it's got Murray State the home team.
Yeah, I'm with Sam here. You earn home field advantage. You should be able to keep it. I mean, heck, give the higher seed the choice. Maybe you want to be the road team for a reason, but give the higher seed a choice. I mean, the regular season has to mean something. You earned a seed. You should be able to keep some of that.
Yeah, I definitely think the highest seed should be the home team the majority of the way.
Yeah. Anything else in the air this morning? And Mississippi State's got a baseball coach. We may talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, potentially, with press conferences today and all that.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into that one for sure. And for the moment, the only SEC head coaching change, man, if you're a Virginia fan, like I don't know what you do. You lose your basketball and baseball coach. The salary that O'Connor was making at Virginia, like Rob Vaughn and Michael Early make more money than O'Connor was at Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
If they're wondering, like, why in the world is he leaving? Well, if his salary gets doubled.
Did you say Rob Vaughn makes more than O'Connor?
Yeah.
Really?
Rob Vaughn is like, and Michael Early, they're both like around 900.
Goodness.
O'Connor's 600,000, which, hey, sign me up to make that in a year. I will gladly take it.
The SEC, we just spend more.
And yet, hey, the ACC is, I think having the best tournament of any conference.
Look at what Wicked Brew just said. Murray State's head coach makes $70K.
My goodness,
that's the best. That's the best money they can spend right there.
Yeah, that dude has got a greased BB. Have a hard time getting that up the sphincter right now because he gets a win today. He's going to add a 0 to that.
Well, it'll be somewhere else, but
yes, it will.
Right?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier, Bruce. Is that right? I mean, the Arkansas fans last night, and again, we didn't get to see much of it because Arkansas was in control and we were watching squeeze play, so they just weren't on the screen. Neither was Auburn. But, like, the chat was lit last night about the way Wood and Gackle threw.
Oh, yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we thought that combination would look like all season.
Yeah.
No, Sam. No, I don't. There was a time in my life I was making weekly checks that had 4 or 5 digits in it, but it wasn't legal.
Yeah. The bookie days.
Yep.
That's a separate podcast, everybody.
Okay, confidence level and SEC winners tonight in order. And by the way, we'll hit this a few more minutes. We'll take your questions. Super chats are always appreciated. That helps us pay the bills around here. Memberships, we'll try to do a member video. I've not had time to think of what that – I've got some ideas. I think we might do a members-only super regional chat maybe – I don't know, maybe Thursday-ish.
Somebody
I'll let you know.
Chris, as you're bouncing around ideas, somebody in the chat earlier asked who we thought were some of the postseason Golden Spikes type of award winners or candidates and that kind of stuff. That might not be a bad – I'll break out one of my old members-only jackets and we can – we may need to get like a required uniform. I mean, we can go to like a Goodwill store and find a whole bunch of members-only gear.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would – I'd have to look up outside the league. I've got my opinions inside it for sure. I mean, I would have a Loy on the list. I haven't seen – have they named the semifinalists yet?
I don't believe so. But I'll tell you, hey, if members only is still making gear, man, why are we not hitting it up for a sponsorship?
Absolutely. We should check on that.
If they're still voting, my man, big man Bruce Pearl, ain't nobody helped his candidacy more than Ike Irish.
No joke.
I do have the semifinalists for the Golden Spikes if y'all want it.
Yeah, hey, we need to get Chase on at some point. Either way, if Ole Miss makes a super, Chase is a friend, and man, he knows that program inside out, sideways. Curiel for freshman of the year. I don't think he was the best freshman in his own league, and he had a great year. But that should be Chris Rembert with the with the shout out to Dylan Volantis, who Curiel was right there all year, but I think the numbers tailed off a little too much late.
All right, for you, Bo, whenever we break down Arkansas in the super regional previews, I assure you I'll be showing up in a Hawaiian shirt. Tiny bubbles.
They've got 3 Hawaiians on the team, although one of them's hurt.
They're the pineapple of my eye.
Let's see.
By the way, the semifinalist list is way longer than you think.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is from MLB's website on May 18th, so less than a month ago. Aloy from Arkansas, SEC Player of the Year. Cade Anderson, LSU. Jamie Arnold, Florida State. Hold on, I lost it. The shortstop for Oregon State. Robbie Burnett for Georgia. Drew Barris for Georgia Tech, who didn't really have a good week in Oxford. Infielder for UCLA. Carrington Cross, the Big 12 Player of the Year at Cincinnati. Infielder for Miami. Liam Doyle, the lefty in Michigan State. That's going to be a high pick.
Zero.
Yeah, is that the kid that was at Vandy for like 5 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Ike Irish, North Carolina's stud pitcher, ACC Pitcher of the Year. Justin LeBron, ACC Player of the Year at Florida State, their shortstop. His brother at Georgia Tech. Yeah. Cade Lewis from Wake Forest.
Cade Lewis?
Yeah. JB Middleton, the stud pitcher for Southern Miss. Coastal stud pitcher Jacob Morrison. Mason Neville from Oregon. A pitcher from Yale is on here.
Oh, that freshman that just shoved all year.
Yeah. Devin Taylor at Indiana. Volantis in Texas. And Kyson Witherspoon.
Was Doyle on the list?
Yeah, Doyle's on there.
Yeah.
So that's a long semifinal list.
Yeah. Who was the kid at Wake?
Hold on.
The shortstop, right? Houston?
Cade Lewis.
Oh, okay. Never mind. By the way, if you guys are here, and there's a lot of you here right now, if you've not heard about these things from Game Time Sidekicks, it's what I've been downing my caffeine in. These things are amazing. They make all kinds of tumblers. You can get stainless steel sippy cups. You can get 40-ounce bottles and shaker cups. You can get basically all kinds of stuff for them. You can get the SEC stuff like I've got, every team here. And, man, this stuff is well made. If you just run your finger on it, like the paint is kind of three-dimensional. It feels, I don't know what's in it, but it's like an enamel paint to where – and we've got a ton of these things. And if you use them a bunch, the paint always chips off. That's not going to happen with these. These are incredibly well made. The market quality of them inside, the ice retention, all that stuff that you want in a tumbler, that's all there. This is stainless steel, licensed drinkware. You can get every SEC school. You can get over 350 other universities. You can get all kinds of stuff. Go to GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use the promo code SE16. Get 10% off your whole order. And Father's Day is coming up. Like, I cannot think of anything better for your dad than one of these. Get it with his favorite team. Get it with the SEC. Order a few. Order them for yourself. Order them for your dad, whatever you like. I mean, these things are just, when you get, Sam says he uses their sippy cups. When you get the product, you'll just be blown away at how good it is. So check it out, GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code SE16, 10% off your whole order.
There's some talk about the Yale kid going to be in the SEC next year. Well, if that's the case, he can come to Auburn, because I've always heard that Auburn is considered the Ivy League of Lee County.
I thought you were going to go the Ivy League of the South. What do you think is more valuable, getting a degree from Yale or making like $1 million in the SEC?
Long term, probably the degree from Yale, but $1 million in my hand right now is going to be hard for me to turn down, brother.
Yeah, that was like the one team that everybody that was a 1 seed was going, man, I hope they don't win the Ivy, because we'll get that guy on Friday night.
Yeah. Like Columbia, give them credit. They beat Southern Miss game 1 right out of the gates.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, I don't know that we have time to do this all today, but when I woke up, it was still on my mind. Like, how do all these – how are all these mid-majors doing it? I'm just wondering, like, is there something to having more to play for? Is there something to you've got nothing to lose? You know, like all these SEC teams are just loaded with pro prospects, and they're being watched by scouts. Some of these guys are playing their last baseball.
Well, the inverse of that's true, Chris. I mean, some of these guys, if you've played all year at Columbia, you may have seen 2 scouts, and one of them was trying to get a merit badge for his preparedness. So now you're getting to go to an SEC regional, and every team's represented. And if you put on a show, you can go from unknown to Ron Darling.
But did you see? Absolutely, he did. Played at Yale, I believe. Did you see the Ben Upton's tweet this morning, though?
Is he related to BJ?
Not quite, or Justin, but he covers college baseball for 11 points. He talked about it. You'd have to fact check it, but it's like, seems like all these teams that, you know, with these portal guys and everything, like, seems like those teams are taking more L's than W's this tournament. So I don't know what to make of all this. Maybe when we've had some time to be away from it, it'll just be a one-off fluke. But, I mean, I thought, to me, common sense would have told you that this was set up more for the powerhouses to dominate than that's ever happened. They've acquired the talent with the money. They've just rated everybody in college baseball left and right, and yet the mid-majors are having an incredible tournament.
How much stock do you put into most of these leagues like that, like especially like Missouri Valley, Ohio Valley? They're JUCO heavy. So these are older guys. How much stock do you put into that when they get to whatever small college they go to, you know, they're 21, 22, and they're just mature, and you're not really dealing with 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, I think there's something there. And those guys, like, you have a good tournament showing. Maybe there's a scout in the stands that wants to take a shot at you. You've got a lot to gain. And a lot of these, you know, I mean,
there's scouts in the other dugout with NIL.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And to some of the folks in here throwing around defense and fundamentals, and yeah, those are always feathers in your cap, like the cap that Navinard Johnson wore in The Jerk with the big feather, and when he got 250 big ones for the optograph. But the other part of that is 2 of the most solid small ball fundamental baseball teams, Kentucky and Vandy, are planning their trip to Cabo.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's the wildest tournament I've ever seen to this point.
It is. Way more upsets than we normally get. By the way, his friend, how he feeling? The higher official, Brian O'Connor. You got to be pumped.
Yeah, I don't think Mississippi State fans are feeling the pain of losing the tournament, because I've been getting texts from some of them and tweets and messages, and boy, they are excited, and they should be.
Hey, speaking of which, we all got tagged. West Virginia.
Yes.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I already apologized to that dude. I said, enjoy the victory.
I did too.
Bro. I was 1,000% wrong about the Mountaineers, and even included a reference to Country Road, Take Me Home.
Yeah, I don't think NIL is destroying college sports. I think it has a chance to make it better, especially in baseball, for the guys that are particularly, say top 200 draft prospects and had a bad year, makes more sense to stay in college for another year, get your degree, make some money. Basically you get a double signing bonus that way. You get the one for that year and you get the one the next year. I think it can make college sports better, and I think in a lot of ways it has. I mean, I thought the
basketball better.
It has. I mean, the football tournament this year was, I thought, really fun, and that you had no idea how it was going to go. I mean, football was a lot more fun than just going, okay, can anybody come within 20 points of Alabama or Georgia? This year the question was like, all right, who's going to win it?
And to me, the month of November meant way more this past football season than what it normally does.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Which I think was something that had been lacking in the 2-4 team. Yeah,
because you had Ole Miss, South Carolina, Alabama. I mean, even Ohio State after their loss to Michigan. We were all like, okay, this is all new. How's this going to work and shake out?
That said, I loathe the talk to go to 16 because now it's just going to be mulligans for all the front runners, and expansion is only going to further dilute the greatest regular season in all of sports, and that's college football.
And please don't give me buys a set number for conferences. I'm sorry. I know we're an SEC channel. That idea sucks.
But the reason I think it is so tremendous, the NIL is so tremendously great for college basketball. College basketball's heyday was in the 80s and 90s, and those kids came back year after year. These kids are now coming back. So not only do fans get familiar with their rosters, but I now know a great deal more about the rest of the rosters in the SEC and around the country. And because Pettiford and Aiden Holloway and Boogie Flan and a whole bunch of these, and Josh Hubbard at State and Otigwe at Kentucky, a lot of those guys would have gone to the league even without guaranteed draft status before NIL. Now they're coming back and making just as much, if not more.
Yeah.
Patrick, agree with your comment on Kentucky. Tyler Bell is a superstar. Who was the first baseman? Brown. They got a big freshman first baseman, it's a lefty that cracked the lineup plate that's really good. Who's the outfielder they got? Schwartz, maybe? I can't think of his name. They got some good-looking young players, and Nick is terrific at developing talent. They got Cleaver coming back.
That he does damage too in the portal. Like he gets guys that fit his program and culture.
Yep, he absolutely does. And they're names that nobody knows. And he's got a Moneyball thing going on that's working really well for him.
Yeah. Randall asks, where's Ace Reese going to play next year? I don't know, but I can tell you he's about to make a lot of money. Like a lot. Well,
if State's paying that much for a baseball coach, they're not going to let him walk, I wouldn't think. So,
yeah.
Parting thoughts. Let's get out of here in about 60 seconds. Jay Greason.
3-1 tonight. Tennessee finds a way. LSU rolls, and I think Ole Miss finds a way, and I think Oklahoma's season comes to an end. And when Kyson Witherspoon pitches like that in a game you've saved him for, it's kind of the outcome you expect in a regional setup like this.
I'm going to agree, but I'm going to be let me just say I agree. I'm telling there's going to be lots of runs in this Ole Miss game tonight.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I like the three that Jay mentioned, which means it won't happen anything like that.
And we have been on social media. We've been asked to pick against West Virginia all the way to Omaha.
Yeah. Yeah, they love that. Hey, but hats off to them. They deserve every bit of it. All right, we'll be back tonight for a live stream. I'm going to guess. Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, we could start around 8, which is when the middle two games are wrapping up. Oklahoma will be in the books, and LSU will be starting. We'll figure it out. Subscribe, enable your notifications. That way you'll know. Anyway, thank you guys for watching Southeastern 16. For Graham Doty, Jay Greason, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 16.